Hello everybody and welcome to the sewer. In today's video I'm gonna show you how to convert a really complex Excel file into an Anki deck. This video is meant for people who already are very familiar with Excel and with Anki. If you haven't used Anki before, I highly recommend you check out the videos in the description who have been made from other YouTubers who did a really excellent job in explaining how to use Anki for learning. Why exactly am I doing this video? If you found this video, you probably came across other tutorials on how to export an Excel file into an Anki deck, but just like me, you had the issue that those tutorials were meant for not such complex files. Let me show you what I'm talking about. As a med student, I am working on a medication register. You see? These are 149 medications, and for each one of these medication, I have to learn 8 different aspects. I have to learn, for example, their group and their medical use. I have to learn the contraindication. I have to learn the side effects. So this is the original file that I actually am working with, right? And I thought to myself, well, it would be really cool if I had the chance to turn this Excel file into an Anki deck. But the problem is, if I have 149 medications and 8 different aspects that I want to get asked, I would approximately have a total of 1,200 flashcards that I would have to, create manually. And that would take me about 2 ages, right? So we don't want to do that. And the first thing that I wanted to do was to convert the whole file into an Anki deck. So I looked it up on YouTube and I found a couple of tutorials, which unfortunately were not as complex as I need them to be. I'll show you what I mean. So for example, the tutorial that I found on YouTube were mostly of this type. For example, learning vocabulary. They had just a column with the meaning of the word and then another column with the German translation or the Japanese translation. So, and in this case on Anki, if you're familiar with Anki, you will know that for this type of cards, you can just use a basic card, right? It's not too complex, but in my case, I'll show you again what I have to deal with. I have 150 fucking medications, and for each medication I have to be asked every single aspect. So how the fuck do I do that? I want to make this tutorial to show you that it's possible to specify which aspect of the answer you are being asked in the question. In other words, which aspect of the medication I am being asked. And for this purpose, since my original file is in German and it's really fucking big, I decided to create an example file, which I'm gonna show you now. Let's say you have 20 medications, right? For each medication, you wanna know the medical use, you wanna know the contraindications, you wanna know the bioavailability, you wanna know the metabolism, the elimination half-life, the side effects, and many other things. So, what do? And the first thing that we have to do if we want to convert this file into an Anki deck, we have to eliminate all the blanks. We do that because if we don't eliminate the blanks, we are gonna have empty cards on Anki and they are all gonna get mixed up. And if we have a lots of medications or a lots of cards, we don't want them to be messed up, right? So the first thing that we're gonna do is go to the filter function. We go here in the home section and in the editing part, sort and filter, we activate the filter. So let's activate it. As you can see here, there's like a little arrow. We can click on it, and if we have any blank fields, we can also just deselect everything and just select the blanks. So we're gonna select the blanks, and for every blank we just write something. It's not important what you write on it, I'm just gonna write this, and you drag it so that it's automatically copied to the other fields. So, very important, what we do now. We sort and filter again, and we clear the filter so that we can go back to the original view of the file. We check again. We don't have any blanks anymore because we just eliminate them. We just fill them with this thing. So we go to the next column. Do we have any blanks here? No, we don't. So we can go to the next column. Do we have any blanks here? Yes, we do. So we deselect everything. We only select the blanks. We write some shit just like this. We drag it. And then, very important, we clear the filter again. So now we check it. Okay, we don't have any blanks anymore. We skip to the other column. Do we have any blanks here? No. Next column, do we have any blanks here? No, perfect. Last column, do we have any blanks here? No, we don't. So this file is good to go. Now, we go to File and we save it as a text file. I know, sounds really weird, but we're gonna save it as a text file, and I'm gonna save it just on the desktop. We now have a text file for the Excel file that we just closed. So we click on it, and as you can see, it looks awful, right? So what do we do now? We go to File, we save it as a text again, but now we're gonna do a different encoding type. We're not gonna use UTF blah blah whatever, we're just gonna use UTF-8 because it's an encoding type that can be read from Anki. So we save it. We can replace it, or we can just give it another name. So UTF-8, right? So now we have this file. We drag it next to the moon so I can find it again. Now we do the most creative part. We open our Anki program. We create a new deck on Anki. I'm gonna call it Pharmacology. We save it. We click on it, and as you can see, we don't have any cards. Then we go to Tools, and we manage our node types. Click on it. As you can see in our Excel file, we have different columns, and the columns are gonna be our questions. For example, I want to be asked, what are the contraindications of amiodarone? Or what are the side effects for captopril, right? So in each card, I want to have the chance to be asked every aspect. For each medication, I want to be asked the medical use, the contraindication, the bioavailability, the metabolism, etc. in a different card. So we have to have like 8 different cards for each medication, and we can do that on Anki using the 10 questions type. So we want to add a new custom node type. We're gonna clone the 10 questions, click on OK. We can call it Pharmacology. Click on OK. And then we go to the pharmacology type of thing that we just created here. And we go to Fields. Now, since I have already used this function, my fields are already pre-made. But for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna delete all of them. Well, the last one I can't delete, but I can rename it. So the first field that I'm gonna add is just the first field of my Excel file. So the medication, right? So I'm gonna go to Anki and write medication in the first field. Perfect. Now I'm gonna add the second field, and we are gonna name it after the second column of our Excel file. We're gonna name it medical uses. So we go back to Anki and write here medical uses. Click on OK, and we add another field, the third field. Our third Excel column says contraindications. So I'm gonna go back to Anki and write contraindications. And the same I'm gonna do for every other field until I just run out of fields. So add fields, let's see what's else. Contraindications are so first bioavailability and so field number 5, what do we have? Metabolism. Field number 6, elimination multiply. Field number 7, side effects. So now we have 7 different fields. We can close it. And then we go to cards. And as you can see, you see nothing. And this is the problem that I had while watching the other tutorials, because no tutorial was aiming to have the type of card that I wanted to have. I said for each medication, I want to have 8 different questions, right? And I also want to know which aspect of the medication I am being asked. So I have to add a field. The first field that we're gonna add is the medication, because we want to know which medication we are being asked about. I wanna add the first question. What's the medical use of this medication? But I want to have it as, of course, the back template. So I flip it, right? And this is the problem. If I don't know that I am being asked the medical use of the medication, I don't know that the back card is gonna be the medical uses. Do you know what I'm talking about? So already in the front card, I want to specify that I am being asked the medical uses of the medication. So I'm gonna write medical use of that type of medication. And the answer is gonna be the medical use of that medication. And the same thing we do for all other cards. I know it sounds a bit complex, it sounds a bit messed up, but we have to do it like this. So we go to the second card. We add a field in the front template with the medication. And in the back, we want to add the field of the contraindication, for example, right? Again, not in the front field, because the front field is gonna be our question, and we want to have the answer in the back field. So, here we go again. Contraindications of this medication are their contraindication. Now it's starting to make sense, right? So we go to the next card. Again, we had the field medication. Then we had the field of the bioavailability, right? And again, the bioavailability, it's our answer, so we're gonna pass it in the back template. And here we are gonna just type availability of that certain medication. Perfect. Now we go to the fourth card. Again, medication. We now have the metabolism. We cut the metabolism from the front template, we pass it on the back template, and then we specify that we are asking the metabolism. The metabolism of the medication is the metabolism, right? Card number 5, we add the medication again, and then we add the elimination half-life. We cut the elimination half-life from the front template and we pass it on the back template. And we specify again that we are asking the elimination half-life of that specific medication. So, next and last card, we add the field medication, and then we add the field side effects. Here. Then we cut the side effects from the front template and we pass it to the back template, and we specify that we are asking the side effects. Okay, now, if everything went smooth, we are ready to go and to import our Excel file. We can now close it. And we go to File. Click Import. We saved our stuff on the desktop, so this is the file that we're looking for. The Anki card's very complex file, text UTF-8. So we open it. And as you can see, since we already mapped all the fields while we were setting our node type, our program already knows that field 1 of the file is the medication, the second is the medical uses, the third is the contraindications. We can check it up if we did it right. So again, field number 1 is the medication. Correct. Field number 2 is the medical uses. Correct. Field number 3 is the contraindications. Correct. Field number 4 is the bioavailability. Field number 5 is the metabolism. Correct. Field number 6 is the elimination half-life. Correct. Field number 7 is the side effects. Just perfect. Okay? So we checked if it was correct and we've done it right. So we can close this. And now, if everything went well, we'll have this section saying field separated by tab. And we can import the whole thing. So let's click on it. 21 notes were added, 0 notes were updated, 0 notes were changed. Looks nice. We can close it. And now, so let's go and study now. What are the medical uses of beclomethasone? Show answer. It's a steroid medication. Good. What are the medical uses of captopril? Well, captopril is a ACE inhibitor, and see if we were right. It's an ACE inhibitor. You see? It's working. Medical uses of amiodarone. Arrhythmia, ventricular and supraventricular. So, as you can see, we now have our cards, and we exactly know which aspect of the medication we are being asked. Again, if we did this manually, it would have taken ages because we'd have to create so many cards. But I know this sounds really long and really tedious, and it was maybe a little bit complicated because I can't explain shit. So I hope that this was helpful for you, and thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.